In the last couple of videos now, we did statistics for Security Eye and for the market. And when you calculate statistics and things like that, at some point you have to describe to someone what it means. And what we're going to talk about here is how you should talk about mean returns and the risk associated with that. The mean returns that we calculate with the distribution, that's what we call a point estimate. The odds of that actually being the return in the next time period is actually pretty low. And what I'm going to show you now is how you use what we call confidence intervals in order to explain risk and return kind of in the same thought process. Now, confidence intervals. Now, there are three common confidence intervals that we use: a 67% confidence interval, 95%, and 99%. A 67% confidence interval is the mean of the distribution plus or minus one standard deviation. 95% confidence interval is the mean plus or minus two standard deviations. And a 99% confidence interval, of course, the mean plus or minus three standard deviations. Now, just so you know, in industry, you virtually always use the 67% confidence interval. In academics, we often use 95 and 99%, but you know, that's something that's not done in practice, really. Now, I'm going to show you the confidence intervals for the historical distribution and for the probability distribution, just to show you what it would look like. Now, with our historical distribution, we would take the mean of the distribution plus or minus one standard deviation to come up with the 67% confidence interval. And the mean of the distribution, the historical distribution that we calculated, was 4.33%. The standard deviation was 6.41%. So if you take the mean, add 6.41%, you get 10.74. If you take the mean and subtract 6.41, you get a negative 2.08. The way you would interpret this for a boss or a client or for yourself, really, is that in the next time period, assuming these are quarterly returns, in the next quarter, we expect the returns of the asset I in this case, to be somewhere between a positive 10.74% and a negative 2.08%. Now, the probability distribution, it's really the same logic. We're taking the mean plus or minus one standard deviation. The mean, though, is referred to as an expected return. So if you take the mean or expected return of Security Eye, which is 4.2%, and add and subtract the standard deviation from it, you get the 67% confidence interval for the probability distribution. So in our example that we went through in a previous video, the mean was 4.2%, the expected return. You add 5.56% to that, and you get 9.76%. If you take the mean or expected return and subtract one standard deviation, subtract 5.56%, you get the low end of the confidence interval, which is a negative 1.36% in this case. So again, assuming we were trying to project quarterly returns in the next, for the next quarter, really, what you would say in this case is that we expect the quarterly return or the next quarter's returns to be somewhere between a negative 1.36% and a positive 9.76%. And that's how you discuss risk and return kind of packaged together, really. And you should be, telling your clients, your boss, whoever, that, returns don't come with no risk. And that's what a point estimate would be. These confidence intervals, that's a little more descriptive and a little more accurate as to what you actually think is going to happen in the next quarter in this case. But these are confidence intervals. And again, three common confidence intervals: 67%, 95%, and 99% confidence interval.